Every thread carries a story. Some stories are written, others are woven. This is the story of Seghosen, an indigenous textile tradition from Owo, Nigeria.
An igbaja was sent for me from Owo. That's a traditional shawl. I used this igbaja for her and her other siblings. Years later, she was curious where this came from.
At the time, I honestly did not know what I was looking at. I just knew that I felt very connected to the mysterious red and green fabric that was in the house. Years later, those questions led me back to Owo.
Mama tí mo bá ẹran aṣọ inú aṣọ wọn bí mi sí iye mi tàṣọ aṣọ kọ́kọ́ tà even aṣọ ọ̀ràn kọ́kọ́ wọn do ìyá bẹ̀ sí fi ọ̀ràn tàṣọ ọ̀ràn dìbẹ̀ sí tàṣọ ọ̀ràn dìdẹ̀yìn again ọ̀ràn dìyà dìyìn sáṣọ yìí títí ọ̀ràn mu jẹ́ ìpè Olódùmarè aṣọ yìí ọ̀ràn wọn ìṣeré ṣe jẹ́ aṣọ rọ̀ iye dọ́ pé Seghosen ní fi ewé yẹn mú rí ẹ̀ ó lálànà ewé yẹn mú ṣe kọ ẹ̀ é ti gẹ́gẹ́ náà yà ṣe ohun ọ̀tí pé Seghosen.
Once something is a family, in fact, not only me, I have cousins, some of my nephews, even that they are boys, know how to weave. Though some are not practicing it as an income, you understand? But so many of, because it's just like a family business. The design is what makes it Seghosen. Anywhere you see the design, you know there are different types of asho, but that Seghosen, once you see the pattern, the design on it, you know Seghosen.
Ó jẹ́ gbòógì yín fi aṣọ wa yìí ègbùdọ̀ parẹ́ kọ̀ọ̀kan màmá ṣe ó ti dìfẹ́ rẹ̀ dẹ́nẹ́ ṣùgbọ́n Ọlọ́run òdìyà gbé kòró òdìyà gbé ẹ̀chá náà òdìyà gbé kòró àtolúlé àtàlejò gẹ́gẹ́ náà di fi Seghosen.
The name Seghosen is because it's the most expensive aṣọ Owo nígbà yẹn. So it's a very, very special thing.
The history of African textiles is deep, and fabrics are significant components of most African cultures. I was taken by the importance of women's weaving in Owo. When I was preparing to go to Nigeria, most studies had focused on men's weaving, ashoke. When I arrived in Owo, I saw the most significant cloth was being woven by women. An early British colonial office by the name of Mackenzie had noted that some 85% of the women in Owo were weavers, and that most homes had more than one vertical loom.
As of today, Owo has been in the present location for over 1,000 years. And we migrated from the ancient Ife. Not this present Tidé Ife, the Ife, call it Ufe. So all we have to talk about the origin and of Seghosen now, as if we brought it from the source. And we've been on this for over 1,000 years. Even without them thinking, every family that are involved in weaving from day one, they don't want that weaving culture to be eradicated.
So I'd say the biggest creative hurdle was the fact that I'd never heard about that fabric before. It was my first time. The biggest creative challenge was at the initial stages, walking blind. Because I'd never seen up close the material, it was hard to determine the texture, the feel, and other elements of the fabric. A national archive of ancient Nigerian fabrics would also go a long way in preserving the history of fabrics like this.
As I learned more about the Seghosen, I became interested in a larger question. How do we honor tradition while creating something new? That question became the very foundation of Sengwa. I was not interested in recreating the past. I wanted to explore how the ideas, values, and beauty of Seghosen could speak to a contemporary audience. Seghosen represents generations of knowledge, craftsmanship, and creativity. Yet, beyond its place of origin in Owo, Nigeria, it remains largely unknown. Revival isn't only about preserving culture, it is about creating new opportunities for artisans and new conversations between traditional and contemporary design. The story of the Seghosen did not begin with me, and it will not end with me. Every generation adds its own thread. Every generation inherits something, a skill, a story, a responsibility. The future of the Seghosen depends on whether we choose to carry it forward, not by repeating the past, but by giving it another future.